Hi Sagittarius, I'm Desi. This is my channel, Starchaeology Tarot. Thank you so much for being here. It's a privilege and honor to get to connect with you in this way. The internet is a miracle sometimes. Sometimes it's kind of evil. Sometimes it's magic. And that's the nature of life. It's pure duality. What a way to start this. I am ready, are you, to dig deep into your January 2021. I'm so psyched to see what, wow, the light is shining in right now. I'm going to take that as a sign, Sag, that the sun is rising for you in January. I can't wait to see what Spirit says through the cards. I'm looking for the message that will expand you most in January. What is the divine message you need to hear that will most align you with your highest self and your highest path? I'm ready to uncover some insights, wisdom, maybe key missing puzzle pieces that you've been looking for and haven't really been able to see. With that, if you wouldn't mind smashing that like button, also smashing that subscribe button, also commenting right now and saying hi, or commenting after, and sharing with me whatever you're willing to share with me. Your vulnerability is my nourishment. That sounds so scary, but wow, there's just nothing better than being vulnerable, especially with strangers. I do it all the time. I love it. That's how we grow. That's how we grow closer. And that's what heals the world. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, if you wouldn't mind doing that, it would mean so much to me. I will cry and scream in a good way. I'm really trying to build this community. This is becoming more and more important to me, Starchaeology Tarot, and your support means everything. It really, really means everything. So, however you show that, if you are so kind to do so, I will be so, so, so grateful. With that, this is good for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Check out your other placements if you want a more detailed, specific, tailored picture of the very unique being that you are, because you're more than your sun sign. And with that, let's see what Spirit has to say to you, Sagittarius, for January 2021. Sagittarius, your hard work, this long-term apprenticeship that you have been in, you have had your head down, you've been working so, so hard, and it's time to assess how far that has brought you, to assess where that's brought you right now. There is you're hitting some milestone of security in January. The Four of Wands, it's also known as the honeymoon card. And being 4, it's a number of real stability, real security. You are, there's going to be something for you to celebrate, something regarding your desires and your life purpose that you'll be celebrating in January. Something that will provide you security, stability, and will give you real reason to celebrate. It is something that you've been working for a really long time, and that is really, really great to hear. The Judgment card here, though, is what's really interesting to me, because the Judgment card means that for some of you, this is something that will bring you into the public eye, or simply under critical eye. the critical eye of others, so others' judgment. This would subject you to others' judgment. Your work, your hard work will be subjected to the critical eye of others, the assessment of others. And that might be leading to a decision made about you that can determine your fate in a way, or determine your next steps at the very least. But the Judgment card is so much more about you judging your own work, you judging what is worthy of celebrating, and not leaving that up to people who you determine or essentially treat as your God, as the person who judges whether you were worthy or not. The Judgment card is largely about self-assessment. It's largely about you looking at everything that is all your hard work up until this point and saying, I say that this work was good, or I decide that this work is valuable. I decide that this work was and is aligned with what I set out to do. And then you're able to, it's that assessment, your own assessment, and your dependence on your own judgment, your own word, first and foremost, that then allows you to grow past it. It's almost like waiting for other people to judge you instead of you judging yourself keeps you in this limbo. It keeps you in purgatory, because that you're never going to get. No one is ever going to get that kind of validation that we all seek from other people. Even when we get little tastes of it, really all that sets us up for is the need for more validation, because we end up feeling more empty as soon as it goes away. So this is, that kind of self-assessment is necessary. It's like, it's so crucial for assimilating your past so that you can be present in the moment and keep working in a way that moves you forward, not just in a way that where you're almost working backwards and trying to recreate past successes or past celebrations, past things that you were like, well, that brought me stability, let me do that again, I want to feel that way again. That kind of sacrifices the quality of work you're doing, because your intention is not in really the most high vibrational place. It's kind of a low vibration intention of just wanting to feel okay rather than doing what you want to be doing for the sake of doing it, or telling the story you want to be telling for the sake of the story. Or putting that message out into the world that you say is so important to you. But if your focus is on how you're going to feel afterwards rather than focusing on the integrity of that message and getting through to people, then you're in this losing battle. It's on the bottom of the deck here. Oh my god, and Eight of Swords is on the bottom of the deck. So this does tell me that there's something about this waiting for this judgment from others or this validation from others that keeps you in this trapped place. And it isolates you too, because what it puts you in, it just puts you in your head. It traps you in your head, because then you're in this state of living where you're like, well, I gotta think my way, I gotta figure this out. I gotta figure out how to win this judgment from others so that I can let the past go, so that I can move on to this next thing, so I can graduate into mastery instead of just being in this limbo of apprenticeship, waiting for someone to tell me I'm a master, waiting for someone to tell me that I'm good enough. And that really isolates you from community, Sagittarius. It's like you feel like society, you're waiting for the judgment of society, but society's turned its back on you, when in fact you're your own captor. The Eight of Swords always tells us that you are your own captor, because you give value to, you decide whose judgment you need. So if you decide that the judgment you need is from others, the validation that you need is from others, then you keep yourself imprisoned. Whereas if you decide the judgment that you need is just your own validation, you validate yourself, you decide that your work is good, then you release yourself from these self-imposed binds. You realize that they're not knotted, they're not tied, they can fall away. You realize that the blindfold's really loose, you realize that you've kind of alienated yourself by putting yourself in this less powerful position, really by giving your power away, because you have the power to assess your past work, your past achievements. You have the power. You have more right than anyone else to properly assess that. Because you know your work better than anyone else does. So you can assess whether that lived up to your standards or not. And whether it did or not, honest assessment is what sets you free. Honest assessment is what pushes you forward on your journey. Staying in limbo and waiting for someone else's assessment, which is often dishonest, and not maliciously so, but just because they can't know your work like you do. They can't know your intention. They can't tell you, oh yes, her work aligned with what she said she set out to do, because they don't know what you set out to do. They don't know what's inside you, so they don't know how, what you've done, how your actions have really aligned with your emotions and your thoughts. So that often leads to an inauthentic assessment, a dishonest judgment. And then when we put all our weight on that judgment from others, and it happens to be inaccurate, we build our life moving forward on weak foundation. So this is a real month of letting go for you. And I think also, Sagittarius, there's celebration in that. It's almost the letting go of that judgment and that need for validation that provides the stability and security for you to keep working towards what you want, and for you to actually gain that mastery and graduate from apprentice to master. Really master your passion, really master your life. Unlock a new level of mastery. And just bask in the love of that. Bask in celebrating what you deem worthy of celebrating about you. And there's so much. There is so much to celebrate about you, because that 4 is here. That 4 of Wands is here. But regardless, there is something here where you need to let go of it, and not letting go of it keeps you trapped. Honest assessment is needed, and that assessment comes from you first and foremost. So don't deprive yourself of that any longer, because you're in charge here, and you can make that happen. You don't need anyone else to do that for you. I hope that's helpful, Sagittarius. What an empowering way to start 2021. What a great celebration to kick off the new year. I would love to hear how this looks specifically for you. So feel free to comment below if you want to connect with me. It makes my day to hear from you. I so appreciate you being here. I'm speechless, actually, how grateful I am. So with that, I'll just say I love you. Thank you. Happy New Year, and I'll see you next time.